Well, what will you be reading from your tea leaves? Not really to speculate the judgment, maybe I'm throwing you there, but just generally, since you are a beneficiary of that seat, you've sat there, how discernibly different has the seat been making in terms of administration?
Well, first of all, I believe public service has a mandate to create any position, and the president also has those powers. This position was there. It's only that President Uhuru decided to change it to this name. But when they were advisors and they were at the same on everything, nobody bothered. Yet they were advisors and they were in the same pay, everything, same remuneration, and it worked. For me, after, not because I'm a beneficiary, but after walking into ministry and realizing, yes, Kenyans went, and you see, we went out there and we said when we were looking for the new constitution, oh, this is good, this might not be good. And we put everything together, yes. But after you have practiced, you realize there was somewhere that we thought it was right. But indeed, when you look at those ministries, and if you want to learn the lessons very hard, you just go back to the Ministry of Devolution, then, when it was very powerful, and you realize that it had departments, but ministers or cabinet secretaries would wish to just go into one department where things are working. And you kill a whole ministry because they won't even bother. Today, if you ask some of these ministers, you have 4 PSs. Have you been in this per week? How do you work in this department and this and this? You'll be shocked that they can rely on one department for months. And therefore, who runs this other will be your PS. And so if you don't have a CAS to try and work with that PS, you will find yourself in trouble. And I think that's why the president told them he knows much than they know. It is just because of that. And also in terms of revenue of each department. You see, if you have one that has very high revenue and the other one, you tend to just forget about this. Like now when they brought Moses Kuria back to public service, for me, I appreciate it because I realized that department, which is very crucial, which takes the national government and the county government together, and all the civil servants of this country. Nobody was now talking for it. For 1 year, I doubt whether anyone talked about it. I doubt whether anyone followed through what is happening. How many people have retired? What do we have in terms? Today, I know if you go in ministry, and when I left, I know in my report, I left that we have a huge gap, Tibal, of people who are about to retire, and they're going to retire together. And because for 10 to 15 years, former public head of public service had carved in terms of employment, we are going to find ourselves again in a crisis where you're bringing in young people, but you never allow them to come in early, to mentor them, to train them so that they can take over. So we will just be, and that is what I believe. If I ask today our head of public service, he will tell us he is facing now this crisis. So for me, the CAS position is critical in terms of service delivery. So that if the CS is busy on one side, you have a deputy who can pick on these other issues. And you remember, we have positions where the cabinet secretary literally is always in meetings, out of the country, meetings, out of the country. By the time you're coming back, I don't know how your ministry is. And that is why then we would come back, each of us, if you have a good cabinet secretary the way we had, each of us had a docket. But you have to deliver in that docket. You must bring results. So you are under a performance contract where you give in results and you are able to appraise your cabinet secretary every week. Like every Monday, 6, you start your meeting.
All right.
So for me, the 22 I believe at that time, the courts had now agreed and regularized, and that is why they told Public Service Commission that you are the ones who have to go through, ensure the process of recruitment is, and I'm hoping the Court of Appeal will look at their same judgments that they had before, because I don't know, and then because you look at facts as you come in when you are at the Court of Appeal, look at facts, see whether it will work, and allow. I don't agree with the 50, but I think the 22, whoever they will say, we deserve to have better services, or else these ministries are going to be a nightmare.
What was the determination of the court regarding the 22?
At that time, they were told. That is why, you remember, in the beginning, the former president just picked. But you see, now they were told you have to go through public service and you have to go through a recruitment process where everyone applies, every Kenyan applies, and then they shortlist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that is the current situation right now. They have to go through.
Yes. They went through public service. This 50, there was a process that went on in the papers and all that. If they were 22, I believe today they won't be in court.
Yeah, I wanted just to ask for the 22, because you also, as well, as we are just winding up on that bit, you, the 22 that were in the
that's why I'm saying for us, we were offered, we never went through public service.
We never.
Yes, that's why the courts had an issue. And that is why they were told now, going forward, you regularize by ensuring you follow the process and follow the guidelines of public service, how you are employed to join public service.
Right.